Welcome one, welcome all to a special holiday episode of Woodworking is Bullshit. Much like the holiday variety specials that you grew up with, we're going to do something really special today. I'm your host, Paul Jasper, woodworker at night, scientist by day, and I'm joined with my two excellent, amazing, fabulous co-hosts, Eric Curtis, fine furniture maker and content creator, and Mary Sy, UX designer by day, contemporary woodworker by night. Mary, did you notice I didn't mispronounce your name this episode?
It's probably the first time you haven't been like, say!
I was trying to be nice.
Can you give that to us one more time?
I was trying to be nice because I did want to say, say!
You're welcome to do whatever you want.
Don't tell him that.
All right, so you may not know this, but we decided to do a special holiday episode where we threw all the rules out, and we're going to have two very special guests on today's episode. Not one, two, okay? First of all, the first guest is sitting next to me, and boy, we're going to need marriage counseling after this. It is my wife, Victoria Cruncheroni Jasper.
Yo.
And sitting next Jasper Farms on
Jasper Farms fame.
Instagram.
And sitting next to Eric is his partner, Sarah. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you, Paul.
Yay.
So we thought it might be fun to have Sarah and Vicky on because, well, we've only had woodworkers and other artists, and we thought it'd be fun to have our significant others on because they could give a different perspective. Like we're all like indoctrinated, like woodworking's so cool, we all love it, blah, blah, blah. But do people outside of woodworking love it? Do people that have to put up with us love it?
Reality check.
Exactly, Sarah. How do other people feel, and especially people that live with us, about what we do? So we thought it'd be fun to have them on the episode. Welcome to Vicky and Sarah. And we're going to jump into it. We're going to start by trying to understand what their experience is, existing with us. And I mean, trust me, they are forced into a lot of woodworking conversations and people and parties, and they eat, breathe, and sleep it, unfortunately. And we thought we'd start with a serious segment, asking them what their experience is like, and then later on in the show, we'll get to more controversial topics, let's say.
First, I have to say that I'm very surprised that this podcast could afford Sarah and I on the show. Our demands are very high.
Yeah.
We saved up all year.
We drained the budget, but
So thank you to our patrons for supporting us to be able to afford these ladies. All right, ladies, let's start. Let's go. So we always start this show with questions, and the questions for today are going to revolve around your view of craft and how you feel. So I'll start by asking, what do you girls think is the hardest part of the craft? Say like what we do from the outside looking in. Sarah, let's start with you. What do you think from your perspective is something you've seen Erica do or others that you think is like, wow, that's really hard. I don't know, how I would handle that.
Ooh, I would say time management, because I see him all the time. He's like, I'm working on this project and that project, and I ask him every day what's going on, and then he has 100 things going on for that project. And I'm like, how do you keep track of all of those things and like multiple projects at a time? So
it's called caffeine and alcohol.
honestly,
That's interesting. That's not an answer that I would have thought.
I didn't expect that either.
Yeah, that is an interesting one though. And she there's constantly the question of like, how are you doing? Like, how was your day? How are you feeling?
And he always says, oh, this is what I have to do today. And I'm like, yes, love, I know you're busy, but how are you?
There's no, but like, that's getting at the heart of the question, right? We are obsessive people, I think, by nature, and you observe us being obsessive people. And it's just an interesting answer to think about, that's the thing that sticks out to you most as like the difficult thing, when to me it's like I feel like who's the kid in Up? Well, I guess he didn't hold on to balloons, but like a person dangling from a string, just like hanging on to the
chubby
thing.
Asian kid?
The little chubby Asian
Only
kid.
Mary can get away with saying that.
Oh. Well, anyway, Vicky,
Okay.
what do you think? What's your observation?
So I have to say that Paul is incredibly talented, and it's very rare that I see him struggle or get tripped up with something or be truly like bothered by something. But I will say, just as his partner, I don't like to see him struggle. I don't like to see him stuck, and I don't like to see him. It's very rare, because the people that you work with and the customers that you design for and build for are usually really they contribute a lot. They're great sort of partners. Every once in a while you might get stuck, or you might maybe be clashing with what the other person is thinking, and I don't like to watch you struggle with that. I guess is my answer. I don't like to watch you get stuck or be frustrated.
Okay. And it's usually, what do I get stuck more on the juggling of tasks like Eric, or is it more about the design? Or
I think it's mostly with very specific design requests that maybe you don't agree with, or maybe you can't conceptualize, and you get stuck and you get a little fixated.
I had that. A customer asked for a family seal to be burned on their beautiful box. I mean, this box was gorgeous. The seal they gave me looked like it was out of a Garfield cartoon. It looked so dumb. And I did a reverse image search on it, and I found out it was just a form. It wasn't authentic. Like, it was just computer generated, and there were hundreds of that exact template floating around the internet. So the question became, like, the customer took great pride in that seal, but how do I tell the customer it looks stupid and goofy and it's non-authentic? And because I don't want to hurt any feelings. So that was a real
That's an
careful
interesting
moment.
human struggle, though, right? Because like you could have been a sociopath or an asshole and just been like, "Hey, this thing's fake, and I'm not going to do it." But like, you recognize the emotional weight of that conversation, and like, it's a friend. Like, you don't want to damage that relationship.
Yeah.
So we talk about all things under the sun, on the phone and in text, and I can see you struggling, and I remember you struggling with that. That it was just like, how do I navigate this like very human moment?
Right.
That's a hard thing.
Yeah, and it's like, when it's your name, like there's Dale Carnegie in How to Win Friends and Influence People taught us all, there is nothing more sacred or more valuable than a person's name. Like that is the sweetest word in any language to a person. So like, you're talking about a seal for their last name.
Yeah.
And so the gravity was not lost on me. Okay.
Did you tell them?
I did, because she's my friend. I said, I'm sorry. It turns out I did a reverse image search and I found the same seal all over the internet. I'm sorry if that, is upsetting. And
your ancestral family seal that you have.
He did it in a really
gentle
gentle way. He did. He did it in a very gentle way.
I had to do it. She's my friend. I had to tell her the truth. Her dad just gave this to her, and she was like, "Oh, okay, family seal." Anyway, she didn't like it at first, but then she's like, you know what? That's kind of bullshit. And she pivoted to a new seal that her brother was using for their wedding invitations. That is beautiful. It's got laurel leaves and it's floral and it's got the last name. It's beautiful. And we wound up using that, and they were so happy in the end. So, whew.
Mary, I was with you. I was like, let it ride.
I don't know if I'd be willing to sacrifice that friendship. I don't know.
Just avoid confrontation.
Well, I think I made it stronger in the end. It was touch and go for a minute there, right? All right, second question. We'll start with Vicky first.
Okay.
Vicky, what do you think about wood as a material?
I have to say, my 14, 15 years with you has really taught me to appreciate wood as a medium. I'm not kidding you. Like, I remember when we first started dating and you lived in this house, and I remember like none of the trim in this house, this is over 100-year-old house, none of the trim had been painted. And I remember when I came in, I was thinking like, I'm gonna paint all this white. And like, you really have taught me to appreciate like don't touch these things. These are like, they should be preserved. You really do make me appreciate and notice wood and because we cannot go anywhere without you examining the table that we're eating at, or the chairs we're sitting in, or the wood on the floor. So I have had no choice. I'm a prisoner of the wood.
I like that. I like the way that sounds.
That's the show title, Prisoner of Wood.
Prisoner of Wood,
I
100%.
am a prisoner of the wood.
Eric, is that our next t-shirt?
Guaranteed.
Sarah, how do you feel about being a prisoner of wood?
I haven't been a prisoner for as long as Vicky has, but I think I need to backtrack a little bit because I didn't. So when I saw Eric for the first time, he wasn't a woodworker to me. He was on a Netflix show. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. And he was a carpenter.
Wait, what? No, I'm just kidding.
So, and then only after I'd watched the show and started talking to him, I realized that he made fine furniture, right? So, before I'd met him, I had no idea about wood. I didn't pay attention to wood as a material, but as Vicky said, you basically have to. I started to pay attention because wherever I go with Eric, he points stuff out about furniture. And I gotta say, I think that wood is so interesting. I've never paid attention to any of the grain or how stuff is assembled and how many different kinds of joinery there is. And now I know all this stuff. And even when I'm alone now, I kind of notice things, and it's been very exciting. I've made a few things myself, which
You absolutely have.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's a nice material to work with. So I'm still learning though.
Listening to both of you talk about how neither Paul nor I can go literally anywhere without like deeply examining and then like verbally explaining what's happening with wood. Like, are we a little spectrumy? Like,
Are you kidding me? Of course.
I mean, yeah.
I have zero doubt.
I mean, the answer's not no.
I can't help it. Mary, how do you feel? I'm going to go a little off script. We're going to get off Vicky and Sarah for a moment. Mary, how do you feel about wood as a material? Tell us. You probably didn't expect me to ask you this.
Are you a prisoner of wood, Mary?
She's not a prisoner of wood. She's a warden of wood.
Oh, she's the warden.
Yeah, but she's like, it's a voluntary situation.
Mary, that is another
That's
form
a new
of
handle.
income for you.
Yeah. Mary, actually, in particular, do you find, like, being from the architectural, right, and needing precision, do you find wood frustrating because it's always moving and not agreeing because it's fucking plant cells? Or do you, like, as you know, concrete and steel are going to be more or less straight and will do what you expect. Do you find wood to be frustrating from that point of view? How do you feel?
I mean, I like wood, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a woodworker. But I don't find wood that frustrating. I think that it was fun to learn about its quirks and how to work with it. Obviously, most people have to go through the learning curve of understanding, like, movement, expansion, and everything. And there's always a project at the beginning of your career where you're like, yeah, that was a huge mistake. And I never considered wood to move. And I remember the specific project for me. But I mean, that's why I like mixing materials in a lot of my projects, whether it's wood and metal, wood and, acrylic or glass or, color, etc. I think that wood is really nice and I enjoy working with it. I think that it complements other materials really well because it's such a warm material. If you talk about things like glass and concrete and steel, those are really cold and really hard. And wood on the other side is, I mean, it's not soft, but it is softer and brings a warmth to, that complement. So I don't know. I don't remember what your question was, but in general, love wood.
I believe his question was, how do you feel about me opening a new Instagram account called The Warden of Wood? That's
You're
now-
welcome to do that because I definitely prefer that over the other one you have for me.
The wood
Mary,
duchess? I
I have to
regret
say
nothing.
you are a badass like woman woodworker. So
Aw,
you
thanks.
certainly give the rest of us a good name. I'm happy to be in your prison of wood.
Vicky,
That's amazing.
now that you're a prisoner in Mary's prison of you're a prisoner in Mary's
I can see
prisoner
the
of wood.
T-shirt happening in my head.
Prisoner of wood. Vicky behind bars.
Behind wooden
Okay.
bars.
With Mary with the key just outside.
This is so weird.
Oh my god.
This took a turn.
That did take a turn. So given let's say you're in wood jail now.
Yeah.
And you have to make something out of wood.
Mm.
What type, if you had to be a woodworker, if I said no more your regular job,
Okay.
you have to be
I
a
know
woodworker
exactly
starting
what I would
tomorrow.
do.
What
I know
would you
exactly.
make?
I would make super high-end chicken coops. I'm talking wallpaper.
Yes.
I'm talking
God.
balconies. I'm
Yeah.
talking gazebos. I'm talking arbors. Like top of the line celebrity.
Why would you,
You
do
would
that?
totally make a killing with that. I know
Oh,
so
thank
many
you.
people. Who, yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because that's my chicken joke. That's my fire chicken joke.
I was elbowing her.
I
I was
love
elbowing
Jesus.
her under the table. I'm like, why? Why? Because.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Super high end. I'm
That's
talking
an-
wallpaper.
You know
I'm
what?
Talking,
If
yeah.
you did that, I bet you'd have a shitload of orders.
Yes.
Yeah.
For
100%.
sure.
100%.
Like that is
Now,
a viable income stream.
Like,
I want to
minimum
know a price
cost,
point here. Like, what are we talking?
$10,000. Like
10
minimum.
stacks for a
Yeah.
coupe.
Yeah.
Okay,
They can be
wallpaper now.
expensive.
Yep.
Are we bringing in like lounge chairs? Like, what are we doing? Like, how's it? What's the
We're
give
doing
me decoration.
bespoke wallpaper. We're
Okay.
doing flooring. We're doing picture like framed. You know those oldie time what do they call
like
those?
silhouettes of a chicken?
Silhouette of your
Oh,
chickens
yes.
hanging on
Yes,
the wall.
sexy
grand
chicken
staircases.
silhouettes. Yes,
Oh, like a
100%.
spiral staircase up to the
Yes.
roosting bars.
The sky's the limit, folks. Come on.
Oh,
true.
I'm not
I had
gonna lie,
a-
I
Can't
kinda
give it
want
all
you to
away
build
for
this.
free.
I had some
No.
friends like send me links to chicken coops because they were they're like, are these good quality? I was like, I don't know. It's the internet. It's all flat pack. Like, I don't know.
love that
If it ain't
everything
Jasper
made out of
Farms, it
wood,
ain't
people
quality.
are just like, is this good quality? Do you
Yeah,
think you could build this?
How am I
Tell them
supposed
to
to
send
know?
them to me.
For those that don't know,
man.
Vicky and I have about 7 chickens right now.
Well, we had 7, now we have 6.
Oh,
We
we
have 6
learned, wasn't it
Yeah.
last episode where we learned it cost $60 an egg for you?
Oh, by the time you figure out all their food and stuff, yeah,
That's
it's a great
you
deal.
bougie bitches.
And now it's
They're
75.
so
You
bougie.
What a
bougie
deal.
Massachusetts
Yeah,
assholes.
really.
Before we go to what Sarah's going to make, Sarah, collect your thoughts, dear. I just want to say, I think that would actually totally work as a business. Not a doubt in my mind that
For
would
sure.
sell.
You get 1 or 2 viral videos on the internet.
Yeah,
Done.
All right, Sarah,
there we go.
All right, what do you
you're a
got?
woodworker.
First of all, I got
tomorrow.
a question. What are chicken coops?
Ah.
Listen,
Excellent
guys,
question.
my first language is not English.
Fair enough.
So
So
That's fair.
the coop is where people who keep chickens. The coop is where they live. So they roost at night
Not the people, the
inside.
chickens.
Not the people, not the people who
Thanks
keep
for
chickens.
No,
The
no, no,
clarification.
not the
chickens.
people, the
Yes.
chickens.
Okay.
So that you build like a little
The chicken
house
house.
for them,
Yeah.
and they live in the house. And then in the daytime, they
Okay.
come out and they go and they either free range or they stay in their little pen. But at night, they go up into their little chicken
Okay.
house.
So
well,
they're
now I
getting
know.
by
I
the
just didn't
foxes.
know
All
the
right.
word
Yeah.
for it.
Sarah, I'd like
Okay.
you to give the first sentence of your answer in your native language,
Yes,
please.
please.
Go ahead.
Okay, also ich würde, wenn ich Woodworker wäre,
Ja.
kleine Boxen machen für Verlobungsringe.
Oh, eine Box machen.
Ja. Aber Eric spricht auch Deutsch. Also
Okay, so-
Wow,
If there's,
that sounds way better than
I
anything
heard
said.
boxes and I heard Altoids. That's all I heard.
Altoids. Paul, I don't know.
I don't think you know what an Altoid is, do you?
It's like a painkiller? Or
No.
Oh,
It's
no?
It's a
mint.
breath
Like a
mint.
mint.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did know that. Okay. Well,
All right, Sarah, for the
yes.
rest of us who aren't cultured, please.
I think I would make engagement ring boxes.
Aw.
Oh. that's a business opportunity.
You'd never
right
go
there.
out of
People
business.
do that for sure.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've made several.
I was
several.
gonna say, like,
People
if-
to get married, at least
Dude,
one or
people-
more
Sarah
times.
like to get married.
Sarah, that is like one of the most intense emotional things you
Yeah.
can make for a customer, because the
I
guy or it could, a girl, it's for me, it's only been men so far. I haven't made that many, like 2 or 3, but they are so excited for this moment, right? And that adds pressure to the project by proxy. They don't put the pressure on you, but like, this is a moment.
It's
You
a
got to get
big
this
moment.
right.
Yeah.
You
I
want it
know.
to look right.
So imagine, like, you have your type of wood collection, Paul, right?
Yeah.
And you can bang out a thing like a Stadia box that's been altered to fit an engagement ring. Because, like, that
Right.
form, like, that could be special in and of itself.
That's true.
And then you're just batching those out on the CNC with 8/4 material. You're banging them out of, maple burls and walnut burls, and they're beautiful and gorgeous. And maybe the customization you're offering is, a monogrammed brass letter, like the dumb bullshit that just like ups the cost exponentially, but it's literally no extra work for you because you're just punching a file on the CNC. Like,
Right.
that's a legitimate business idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think-
if you're into the production mentality,
Yeah.
absolutely. Go ahead, Sarah.
I just wanted to say I think I'm way better at making small things rather than the huge cabinets that Eric sometimes makes. I'm like, how do you even handle that? So,
And Sarah, why did you gravitate towards that particular thing? Is it because like that's a very emotional, fulfilling item? Like, why did you pick that of all items?
Paul, I just love love.
Oh, man. Honestly.
That's
Honestly.
such a good answer. She loves love, and I love chickens.
I love love as much as Vicky loves her chickens.
There you go.
Oh, Christ.
All right. Next question. So obviously your answers have to do with like craft, and Vicky, you're making like personalized chicken coops, and Sarah, you're making love boxes. And so what value do handmade objects, like, we talk about, Eric and me and Mary, we talk about the value of handmade objects all the time and why they're special, why they're different, like one-off heirloom type. What do you see as the value? Like, how do handmade one-off items impact you personally? Like, what do you think? Sarah, why don't you start first?
Yeah. So I didn't grow up with any like handmade one of a kind objects around me. We always had like basic IKEA furniture at home. And so I didn't know these kind of objects until I really met Eric. So he has made me a bunch of things, boxes and cutting boards and spoons, and those are my favorite objects now, obviously, because he made them, but I also got to see like the process, or I know what goes into it, and they hold a special place in my heart. Yeah.
So, have you encountered handmade objects in other? So, like, I know lots of other woodworkers, obviously, but other craftspeople or artists in other media. Have you encountered their work, even if you don't own it, but like come across their work and seen it in a different way, since you have a deeper understanding now of the intense processes that go into actually making an object by hand?
Absolutely. Like now when I'm at friends' houses or your friends' houses and I see all of those self-made objects, I have an understanding of how much planning goes into it, how much time it takes to do those things, how difficult it is maybe to get over like errors or mistakes. I never even thought about this earlier. Like you might have problems along the way and then you have to solve them. And then there is this end product of all of that process. So yes, I do see it in a different light when I see handmade objects now. Absolutely.
Vicky, how do you feel about handmade objects these
So-
days?
A lot of what Sarah said resonated with me, but I have to say one thing I've learned is I feel like I've been with you from the inception of Copper Pig. So,
You have.
yeah,
You were there
I think
way
you had
before
made
that.
maybe a stool before.
Oh, you were there
right?
way before that.
Yeah. So one thing that I have learned along the way is he used to ask me in the beginning, what should I price this at? And I would hate when he asked me that, because I would just sort of take it at face value, like whatever I was looking at. And I always underpriced it. And then it caused him to be like, what do you mean? I'm not going to sell it for that. And then I was in trouble. And and so, but I have to say, I have watched him every day put his heart and soul and energy into making things, and I see firsthand how much goes into something. So now I feel pretty comfortable when you say, what do you think I should price this at? I feel like
you're there.
I'm in the ballpark of
what
you're in the
you
ballpark
want to sell
now. For.
Yeah.
And I have such an appreciation for the effort and the amount of work that goes into it, and the energy and just the planning. And even Mary, like I follow you on Instagram and I watch the things you make, and it's an energy and a love and a pureness that goes into it that, like, I don't know, like, how do you put a dollar amount on that? But I see the beautiful outcomes of the things that you are making, or Eric is making, or Paul is making. And it's like, I don't know. Sometimes when it actually does sell, I think like, wow, that person got a deal. Like if they only knew what went into this, like behind the scenes,
Well,
you know?
If you ask any woodworker, they'd be like, $1 million.
Yeah,
obviously.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Like, I don't know, Mary, if it's the way you shoot your videos or something. It's different than what I see from Eric or from Paul, the aesthetic of it. I don't know. It's very rich and luxe, and I don't know.
I do it on purpose. I've gotten this comment a lot, but
it works.
the like aesthetic I try to go for, that I see a lot in non-woodworking videos that I like, is like a romanticism about the craft, and that's what I want to come across in the video.
Absolutely. And as somebody who watches it, you know, I have the perspective of watching Paul every day, and, you know, obviously I follow Eric, and I follow a lot of the people that Paul and Eric are friendly with, and you included. And there's just like a difference, or like a richness or a purity into like the videos that you shoot. So it's definitely like, if you just showed me the video, I could say that was Mary's.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Mary.
Yes.
You got a fan here.
Yeah, I'm a fan
Honestly. Girl. So it's Vicky, my question was going to be, has watching Paul evolve and having a deeper understanding of what it takes to make an object by hand influenced the way that you see other like you go to a craft fair and you see like somebody selling a mug for $100, and like 10 years ago you'd have been like, why the fuck would I buy a mug for $100? And now you can appreciate it. But it also sounds like, interestingly, I didn't expect it to go there, that same, I'm assuming the answer is yes, that same concept has kind of applied to seeing Mary's content online, and understanding, like, watching Paul's content, watching my content, and seeing the difference of the attention to detail that Mary's putting in, that like maybe Paul doesn't care about, and I don't have the time to care about.
It's just a different aesthetic. It's not a matter of caring or not caring.
I don't think Paul would be offended if I spoke for both of us when I said like it's better than ours. Because like, again, like Paul doesn't. Paul, again, I'm going to speak for you, buddy, but Paul cares about the object and doesn't give a fuck about the content or the video or the photograph. And I have to care about all of it, so I care about none of it too greatly besides the object. Right? The object is the goal. Everything else is just a vehicle to allow myself the time to make the object. Where Mary cares more, and I'm going to speak for you too, Mary, but tell me to fuck off if you have to. Mary cares deeply about the visual story that's being told as well. And I think that's the thing that comes across in her content that Paul and I lack. And it seems like what you're saying is, even just watching Paul make a box and spend 60 hours with an object that's no bigger than 12 by 12, that attention to detail can even translate outside of physical objects into videography and cinematography.
So what I want to say is a blanket statement of like, art is art. So like a box, the Hobbit bookshelf that you made, Mary, or like the viola case you made, Eric. Like it's beautiful. It's art. It's unique to each of you. But like Mary brings that female perspective, I think, and that's where the videos come in, where it's just a different. I wouldn't expect you or Paul to think that way.
How sexist of you.
You're not.
Honestly.
Well, I'm sorry, but this is where
I'm
Mary is
into it.
more
I love
evolved
it.
than you are. I feel like the imagery and the beauty. She really taps into something that I'm not sure you guys.
Well, we
They
can't
can be
in some
best
ways.
friends now.
Yeah. But going back to I think what you were asking originally, Eric. Like whenever we go to a craft fair or something, I have this like soft spot in me for like the guy who's making the cutting boards with the different, patterns of wood and like and it's like, I have this soft spot in me where I think to myself, like, Paul, you were there once, or like, this is a person who just, he loves all the things you love. He might not just be inspired by the same things you are, or he's not,
Or he's earlier in his journey.
he's earlier in his
Yeah.
journey. But it's, I still have that appreciation for like, the multicolored
so much
cutting
easier.
board.
I feel like it's so much easier for a partner of a woodworker to be in that mindset, because I feel like if you ask a woodworker who's like more along in their career, they would be a little bit more dismissive, and not all the time, obviously, but like it is kind of.
You said it, Mary, not me. I was trying not to.
Well, it's hard to remember, Mary, right?
Yeah,
Like
it is.
Yeah,
It
that's
is.
why I
It's hard
to
appreciate
remember.
that.
Yeah. I wonder if there is a way. So like, as you were saying that, like, I think my Grinch heart grew 2 sizes that day kind of moment, right? Like it was really like how, I guess the question that was coming up in me is how do you support that person outside, like, and maybe the answer is just buy the fucking cutting board and like give it to somebody as a gift. But how do you support and encourage that person to keep on the journey? Because like, they may know that they're not that good yet, or they may also not know that they're not that good yet. But regardless, they like, people need that encouragement at the early stage of their career to go like, somebody saw just enough to spend money, and that matters, and that keeps you going.
I mean, for me, it would just be ask him about their story. Oh, how did you get started? What made you?
Give them your interest.
Tell them. Tell me the story.
Yeah.
Everybody has a story. Everybody. Nobody woke up and was like, I'm a woodworker now. There's a jumping off point for everybody. So even just asking and engaging a person, hey, how did you get started in this? Or these are really great. Like, how long have you been doing this? Like, I might not buy the cutting board because I know a guy, but you can ask them.
Okay, so I have a story. So my scientific company used to have an office. We don't anymore after COVID, but we used to have a central office. And one day I show up in the atrium. There's a craft fair, and there's a woodworker there, and he's got a table of cutting boards. And sure, they're like beginner stuff, but Eric, what you were saying, like, how do you support them? You want to support them, right? And you don't want to be a dick, right? You want to like. So I go up to the
you don't want to be
woodworker.
like, Purple Heart, huh? Interesting choice.
Yeah, really.
Oh, I assure you, there was plenty of Purple Heart, also known as Brown Heart in 5 years.
Did they know that you are a woodworker, Paul? Did they know you?
No. I was just a person in this office building. So I go up to him and I say, oh, wow, like beautiful cutting boards. I see you did this. And oh, wow, you use quarter sawn white oak. Beautiful. I love the ray fleck here. And, obviously he got the message I was a woodworker because of the type of questions, but I didn't elaborate. I did not tell him anything, really. I just made it about him. And
Yeah.
I just, and I said, how's it going? How many hours are you putting in? Have you been able to sell your stuff? How's it going? Like, oh, he's like, I want to do this full time. I'm transitioning. My wife's super supportive. I've converted our garage into a wood shop. Imagine that, Vicky. And so,
I'm like, girl, I could.
so I just gave a message of support, and I said, hey, listen, if you ever want to talk about wood, or like you have any questions, or like you want to discuss like a project, I'm also a woodworker. My Instagram is this, just, good luck, hit me up sometime, man. See you online or something. Very, very, I just tried to make him feel good in that day and like, steady the nerves, because I mean, I don't think the people were there to buy, honestly. They were there to go to work. Anyway,
that's a weird place to sell.
So
Did he
Eric,
hit you up?
he did. So
Aw.
he looked me up about 2 weeks later, and then he sent me a message, and he's like, I didn't know you were a woodworker. Like I didn't know you
Woodworker.
like a
I didn't know you
real
were
woodworker.
a real ass woodworker.
Yeah, I thought you were like, tuba furs and
Turbo furs.
and then suddenly like the conversation changed dramatically, and he's like, oh my God, thank you for being so nice to me. Like, I really appreciate it. I'm struggling. And over the next 1.5 to 2 years, he would hit me up with messages about, he didn't know about expansion contraction sometimes. And he would hit me up with questions, and I'd say, oh no, that thing's going to break itself. I wouldn't do it that way. I'd do it this way. And I was able to help him for about 2 years, like just random questions if he had them. And he was making a go of it. I haven't heard from him in about 1.5 years. So I should probably
And his name is Keith Johnson.
That's what you
Sorry,
call
Keith.
a callback in the olds.
Mary,
Keith.
that might be the
Amazing.
greatest burn of this
Amazing.
podcast.
Keith, you want some ointment for that burn?
I love you, Keith.
Instead of sorry, Mary, it's sorry, Keith.
Sorry, Keith. All right,
Okay.
hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, are you done with your story?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you, Sarah, because what the craft fair, the craft show, the furniture show is a thing in the States that we're all very familiar with, and it's like it's a staple, right? Like there's big craft shows, there's tiny craft shows, there's Christmas craft shows. Like I feel like we are a culture of people who just make shit, and then the entrepreneurial drive to like try to sell it like then evolves into a group of people throwing like the Love City Christmas Fair, right? Or the not Love City, the Love Park Christmas Fair. I've not seen that in Switzerland. Is that a thing that you're aware of? Like, is that sense of small batch handmade objects? Like, is that part of the culture?
I'm sure it is somewhere. But I'm not in the maker bubble in Switzerland like I am here. So I'm sure that I'm not as exposed to those places where those things would happen. We have Christmas markets. People sell handmade objects. But that's about the only time that it is like accessible to the broad public, I would say. I think you would have to like do some research to actually find the other like craft fairs and those kinds of things. But I'm sure it is a thing.
Yeah,
have to
my
keep-
team is in Germany. My work team is in Germany, and they have mentioned like the same sort of craft stuff. However, I feel like I've noticed a thread specifically in like all the German woodworkers I know of it being a lot of like refurbished and like renovate.
Oh,
renovating's not the right
interesting.
word, but like using like old material, refurbishing, I guess, and using
No,
that
reclaimed,
and turning
reclaimed.
turning that into something new. But I don't know if that's just
Interesting.
like a coincidence or if that's actually a trend.
Well, I do feel like Europeans in general are very environmentally informed and responsible. So perhaps the
Really?
Yeah,
Reclam-
not like
yeah.
Americans.
I know. No,
You think
I'm
that?
serious. Yeah. Okay.
I would actually push back. Like, in this is going to get at a broader like consumerism mindset, but my experience of Europe on the whole is the consumer culture is actually more deeply ingrained over there of just like buy and buy and buy and constantly
Interesting.
being inundated with
No way, Eric.
salesmanship.
Where they don't have the space to like keep all
They don't
that
have-
stuff.
not
No
necessarily shit, but like the primary example of this, and again, this is a longer conversation to be had, but the primary example of this is if you walk into any single airport in Europe, what's the first thing you do? Is they wind you through duty free, and they wind you through a goddamn mall. It is a shopping mall, and then they're
That's
like,
because
you
they're
also have
taking
to get on a
advantage.
flight.
That's because they're
Of
taking advantage of the
Americans.
Americans
Yes.
who are
I don't
coming
think
for
that's true,
tourism.
Mary. I don't think that's true.
Consider
I
me
think Mary's
taken
right.
advantage of. That is my favorite part of international travel.
And
That-
you
all
wonder,
right, that's actually the title of the episode.
okay, enough of this shit.
No, can I just say that when you, Eric, when you were conjuring up images of craft fairs in Switzerland, I literally like disassociated and was thinking of just like the most beautiful, pristine, like snow-capped mountains and just gorgeous people selling gorgeous wares and like.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what
Ooh, girl,
Switzerland
that's
is
what I
like.
thought.
Yeah.
It's too expensive to sell that stuff in Switzerland.
Well, that's also true.
That's true.
Let a girl live. Let a girl dream.
All right, back to we've taken quite a hiatus
That's
from our main
fine.
thread. All right, back to woodworking. Sarah and Victoria, what is the favorite thing that you've seen us make, or other people? We can open that. It doesn't have to be me and Eric. And what is your least favorite thing you've seen us make? Let's put the good news first.
You
Victoria?
don't have
Sarah,
to
do
have
you want-
seen. Just like
Sarah, do you
know.
want to go first or would you like me to go first?
Oh, maybe I have to think on this. Go first.
Okay. I know. Okay. Favorite
Like, I immediately know.
Yeah.
for sentimental reasons.
Yeah.
You made me like a cutting board when we first started dating.
Yeah.
Out of the top of, I think it was like a desk or
A
something.
top of a table on the side of the road.
The side of the road. I used to live in Salem, and he found a
So
table on the side of
romantic.
the road. And so he did. He made me a beautiful pig cutting board, and I loved it.
That's your
No,
favorite
but
thing I've
like
ever made?
sentimental. And you made me a beautiful mirror.
That
a
was when
tin-
you peaked as the designer.
No,
Paul.
I know, right?
You have to pick one.
Oh,
you
the
can't go
thing that
through
you-
like a whole
Okay.
chronology
my
of our
favorite
relationship.
thing, my favorite and most impressive thing you've ever made was the high boy that's in our
okay.
bedroom. 100%. I mean that, and
Okay.
the fact that, like, I have pictures of Paul. Like, I took pictures of him like standing next to it. You were never more proud. Not proud on not that happy on our wedding day. Not that happy the day your daughter was born. Like that was peak happiness.
That's not even true. That's a lie. Bunch of bullshit. All right, I'm going to give you time to think of your least favorite project. Sarah, what's the favorite thing you've seen Eric make or someone else?
Well, also for sentimental reasons, the first thing that he made for me, which was like a nice rectangular box, and I keep all of my flight tickets in there,
Oh,
and it's just a nice little object. But in general, I mean, I do like this table that he made, the office table, which it is now.
It's
Yeah,
not the
like
river
the-
table with the rowboat in it, right?
No.
No, the spiral desk.
Yes,
Ah.
I do.
Is
I
that
do
your
like
favorite?
this because, because of the story that you tell.
Oh,
that,
okay. Yeah,
the
yeah,
intention
that's
of
fair.
this was that people like go 360 around it, and it actually worked. He saw people do the thing that he
Yeah.
wanted to
That
achieve,
was the first time it
and
worked.
I think that that's what I like about it, because it created such a good moment for you.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like the story maybe equally as much as the object.
Vicky, what's something you hate or the least favorite object I've ever made? It doesn't have to be me. It can be me. I'm ready for it. Or
It's-
something in general that
okay.
you
There
hate.
have been a few things that you've made that like I didn't get it. It didn't resonate with me. So one of the big influences in Paul's life is the day we went to the museum and you saw Takashi and the flowers.
Oh,
that
yeah.
inspired him to no end, and I never got it. I
Really?
just never got it.
Takashi Murakami as an
the
artist.
why you
The
were
flowers?
so particularly drawn to those flowers. I get Takashi, like I got that. I didn't understand the pull of these flowers, but like, look, it was a thing. It was a moment. The other thing that I
He
didn't
made a lot of things in that
He did,
vernacular,
he did.
though.
That
a
was
people
lot of
loved
cutting
them, and it was
boards
a
had the
moment.
inlay with that
I
flower.
did.
Yeah,
It did not speak to me. It did not speak to me. The other thing that you made that didn't necessarily speak to me was, can I say it?
Yeah, you can say anything.
Okay. I feel really bad. Okay.
Say it.
He made this it was a beautiful jewelry box, and he pyrographied this beautiful like crooked house on it, and I was like,
hell yeah!
I was like,
Paul, did you know this, or is this new?
That
You
look on his
know,
face says it's new.
The fact that it didn't sell for about 2 years
was like,
probably
ah.
should have told me that
Yeah, like,
Mm.
it was such an odd juxtaposition.
It
and like the
was.
house
Of-
was
of
beautiful and the box
image
was beautiful,
in the box,
but I didn't get it. But
yeah,
listen,
it was like
they
a
were
creaky-
dissonant.
It was like a
Yeah.
creaky old house. Like I know this is audio form, unless you're watching the video, but it was like an old creaky 2-story European style Switzerlandy house, like on a hillside.
it looked like the burrow from Harry Potter.
Yeah, it was
like,
very it was like the burrow from Harry Potter, put on a beautiful, elegant, curly walnut jewelry box with like solid copper accents, and it was very peculiar. It was, and I knew that someone would love it. I just had to find that person, and it took 2 years. And someone who went to college with me saw it, and because I went to a tech school. And this person loves Lego. This person loves Harry Potter. This person loves gnomes. They saw that juxtaposition as the coolest fucking thing ever. And when they came to buy it, she didn't know that it was for sale. She thought it had already sold. A year later, I saw her online. And I was like, hey, you know that jewelry box that you said you didn't have enough money for at the time? I'm like, I want you to have it. I'm going to cut the price literally in half if that helps you. And because you are the unique person who will appreciate it. She came over, she bought it. Her hands were shaking, opening it, literally trembling. She was that excited. So I get it. Yeah, it was a weird moment. It was a weird piece. But if you find the right person, it can still work.
But isn't that also just the nature of experimental work? Like that is, you had an idea, you tried an idea, and that's like it. To Vicky, to your point, like both of the things were beautiful, right? Even if they were dissonant, and you tried to put them together, and maybe it didn't work. But the only way you know it doesn't work is if you do the goddamn thing. Right.
Well,
like that,
Eric, so it didn't work for most people. It worked for that one, like a very select person or two. But yes, you're right. Like you don't know until you try, and you got to have the balls to try, right?
Yeah.
After Sarah gives her answer of maybe something that you
want to
made
shit
or
on more
somebody
of my
else.
pieces?
No, I want to know what Mary. I want to know what Mary maybe didn't like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sarah,
what's Mary's least favorite part thing that Paul's ever made? Yes, that's what I want to know too.
Sarah, tell me what you hate. Or your least favorite item.
I hated. Eric once made a box.
I make a lot of boxes. You're gonna have to be more specific.
The video game box. I don't remember.
You didn't like that one?
Video game box?
Yeah.
So he had to make shaper content. And decided to do like an inlay for the top of a box of a certain video game. What was it called?
Final Fantasy
Final Fantasy 7. I didn't even know the game, but I guess it was so different from what you usually make, far away from like the usual design that you have. And I don't know, it just visually didn't do anything for me.
That's interesting. I take zero offense to that because I mean, partially you're right. Like it's outside of my vernacular.
It was a plaything though, and I know you had fun. The thing.
And here's the thing: I still fucking love that box. Like I think, like I loved making that box. I love that game. It's a dumb box, and that you don't like it is like whatever. I liked it.
And then you also found a person,
and somebody bought it,
and somebody bought the box.
Really? Yeah.
There's a lid for every pot.
Eric, I feel there's a lid for every pot. Eric, I feel like our our two experiences are very similar. We were trying new ideas out on the lid of a box, and maybe it didn't work for 99% of our audience.
Yeah. Well, I think what was also interesting about that box or the failure of that box is part of that was driven by like the understanding that we are in a cultural moment of deep nostalgia, and that like I push back a lot against nostalgia as a vehicle because I think it's dangerous and it doesn't allow you to create new things, but it can be fun to reflect sometimes. And that was without a doubt my favorite game growing up. So that was my like nod to my childhood, nod to nostalgia. And maybe the thing was, maybe it just wasn't good. Maybe it was too deep a cut. But whatever the thing was, I was like, I don't know. I liked making it. So who gives a shit if it was a failure?
Who gives a shit if I don't like it? I get it.
You know what, Sarah, you bring up a good point. Like,
Right.
as a craftsperson, you have to steel yourself against dissenting opinions. That's just part of the game.
Right.
Like, you can't let that unhinge you. I mean, it can hurt you for a moment or maybe not.
Sure.
But you have to be able to carry on because art is risk if you're doing it right.
It's true.
Yeah. Mary?
So Mary, what did you hate that they made?
Wait, that I made or of Paul?
No,
and Eric?
that they made. Everything you make is perfection. I'm talking about the boys.
Oh man,
This is actually a more fun game than what's the
Mary's like,
Mary,
I'm not familiar with their catalog because I'm very
you guys
busy.
make
Mary's
a lot
like,
of things.
Mary's like, I don't know what they made because I don't really give a shit.
I don't care.
She's so
I don't
much more
follow
comfortable shitting on her own work than looking us dead in the eye and shitting on our work. So this is so much more of a fun game.
Yeah, I was expecting what did I know?
Or whatever. No pressure. Whatever you make.
Eric, Mary's bringing up your Instagram feed right now
I know.
to see
Oh,
what
yeah.
you've made over the
Absolutely.
last year.
She's gonna shit on the last thing she sees on my Instagram feed.
Because she has no idea what you've been working on.
No, that's not necessarily true.
Okay,
Oh god. Okay, well, okay, I can think of one thing that like isn't really. I appreciate the craft of it, but I would say maybe not my own personal interest. Is probably
Spit it
like
out, dog.
it's probably Eric's river table. Just in
sure.
the nature of it being a river
come on,
table.
Mary.
That's easy.
Mary,
That's the
enough.
thing that I
That's
see
low
the
hanging
most.
fruit. It is.
It haunts her dreams. She's like, I see
Listen,
it the most.
it haunts my dreams. So Larissa came over to record a podcast with Sam and Jeff today. I know I'm a podcast slut. It's not my fault. But we were sitting around the coffee table in the living room, and she was like, "I'm really surprised that this hasn't gotten destroyed yet. Like, it has a boat in the middle of the coffee table." And I made that thing in, I think, 2019. I've been waiting for it to be destroyed so I can make a new table since then. I genuinely didn't expect it to last more than a couple of months.
Oh, that's
Eric,
what's gonna make you make a new one? Because next time I'm over, I'm just like, whoops.
Yeah, Eric,
there
I was
you
like,
go.
I can destroy that for you if you want.
You know, Eric, I have to say I'm not familiar with the river table. I'm
There's a reason.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
You're gonna have to dig deep in the Instagram
I will dig
files
deep.
for that.
I will
I
dig
like
deep.
the boat. I will say I like the boat a lot.
The boats. I think it's a good play on the river table.
Oh,
in fairness.
I
whatever.
like it.
All right, last couple questions before we switch to lightning round. Ladies, what is or how have you dealt with this is really good.
Oh man.
How have you dealt with the phenomenon of, hey, this dude from the internet that I'm friends with
Oh
is
my
going to come
God.
over. We're going to have dinner together and they're staying over tonight.
All right, can I just
Please.
instantly, as you were
Please.
talking, this is the first story that entered my brain, and I've got a million of them, but this is a good one. So the high boy that I mentioned before, that is Paul's pride and joy, that he loves more than anything on this planet, is in our bedroom. And somebody had come over. I think maybe you went and got beers with them. They were very nice. Well, I'll get to how they were nice. Very nice. You went and got beers with them, and then you came home. And now I have a tendency to go to bed on the early side, so like 9 o'clock. So I am in my bed, covers on. I've got the podcast going. I'm in the bedroom, and I hear him come home, and I hear he's downstairs, and I can hear he's chatting with somebody. And then I hear the sound of people coming up the stairs, and I was like, "There's no way."
I'm unreasonably
Oh, no.
nervous hearing this story.
no.
right
You
now.
should be. You should
wanted
be.
to
You're
show it
about to lose
off.
patrons over this. And he opens the bedroom door. I am in bed. And he opens the bedroom door and he's like, "Hey, my friend so-and-so wants to see the highboy. You don't mind, right?" And he flips the light on. I'm literally in bed. I'm like, "Hi."
Oh my God, Paul! I would be so bad.
And the
This
person was
is
like, "Hi, nice to
amazing.
meet you." And
A
like,
stranger?
yeah, a stranger from the interwebs.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
And listen, I'm
man.
2 martinis deep. I'm not afraid to say. When I go to sleep, I'm Vicky No Pants. So like, I am not appropriate under those covers.
But you've got a blanket on. It's fine.
I did have many blankets up to my chin, and I was like, "Nice to meet you."
Oh, man.
Why do you fucking go to bed at 7:30 p.m. is my question.
Why do
But
you
you
bring
knew
strangers?
you
on
knew that
her.
about her.
Why do you bring strangers from the internet
No,
into our
Mary,
bedroom?
I
It's
didn't know that
amazing.
about her when we got married. Then she was normal. It's like a bait and
amazing.
switch job. She's
Yeah,
like,
because-
"Oh, so
Classic-
cool. I'm so
classic bait and
fun."
switch.
By the way, I'm going to bed at 7:30
Yeah,
p.m.
because my
now.
husband abandons me for his wood shop.
See, this is the podcast I was promised. Marital counseling with Eric and Mary. This is what I was promised.
So, Sarah, try to top strangers in your bedroom.
I'll
Yeah, that was
try.
hard to top.
Oh, so I will start here. Eric and I once went on a bar crawl in Philadelphia. It was the first time I was here, I think, or like the second
Oh,
time.
when it was just you and I.
Just you
yeah,
and I.
Yeah.
And so we went to like 8 or 10 bars, whatever it was.
Jesus.
And
Jeez
And then-
Louise. Oh, to be young.
yeah. Oh no, I was almost as hammered as Vicky is right now.
Almost.
And then this was the inspiration for a thing called the Maker Crawl that happens every year now, where 30 of Eric's and Paul's friends and Mary's friends come to Philadelphia, and we go on a bar crawl together. And there happens to be a party at our house after.
Mhm.
So, and then there's not one person in our bedroom, but like 20. So,
You win. You
The house-
win.
Listen, the house is not. I mean, well, I don't know how my house is probably smaller than your guys' house, right? Like, and it's there's not a lot
Eric,
of room.
don't act like you haven't been in Casa Jasper in the guest bedroom. Don't even act like
man, the first time that you and I met, you walked in while Paul and I were tacking up beadboard in the kitchen, and you were like, "Oh, is this Eric? Is this the stranger from the internet who's sleeping in our house tonight?" Okay, well, see you guys later.
Yep. Nice to meet you.
no, but in all honesty, I enjoy it very much. I've been enjoying getting to know everybody from the community. And
You did handle
even-
being around 30 people that only you knew casually a couple of them for 72 hours. While
Oh my God, Sarah, MVP.
I know,
it was
MVP.
honestly,
it was wild.
while I
I
had to
have
bounce
to say,
back and
though-
forth to like host an event.
A lot.
Which you didn't want to host. It's just Justin.
Well, it's not my
maybe.
event. Yeah.
A lot of those guys, so like I know a lot of the people that Mary and Eric know, and a lot of the people that you met on that crawl. I have to say, like, you were asking, like, what's my favorite thing you made? And I was like, dare I say the friendships? Honestly,
It's about the
like,
friendships we made along the way.
they're amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I have not met one person that I didn't like, honestly. So really, the maker community
It's
is
a pretty
incredible.
phenomenal group of people. That's for
We
sure.
have good taste. What can I say?
Obviously.
True.
Obviously.
All right, we're heading up to about an hour, and we're going to switch gears now to what we thought would be interesting is a lightning round. And the lightning round is usually me and Eric and Mary trading jabs, but we thought it might be even better if Sarah and Victoria did a last woman standing lightning round where they mention certain woodworking things, and we'll see how much osmosis has occurred. How much have they gathered through passive absorption from being around such knowledgeable and demure and
I'm like already thinking of them in my head.
Hold on.
Demure is not the word I would have used.
Which of
to
the three
describe
of us is demure, buddy?
Yeah. Very demure. Very
all right,
Very
mindful.
very mindful.
fuck demure. On to the lighting round. We're gonna start with species of wood.
Oh, I got this.
Last
Oh.
woman
Oh
standing.
my god.
Okay.
Wins.
So jab for jab. 5
go.
second
Jab
limit.
for jab.
5 second limit.
Ready? Yeah,
Yeah.
5 seconds. You can't be like.
I don't need 5
Okay.
seconds. I got
All right,
this.
Sarah, you're first. Ready?
Is this fair
I
for
guess.
Sarah? It's not her.
Oh,
English
Sarah,
is not her
if-
first language.
Sarah,
either.
if you need to do it in German, we'll believe you.
No, because she's just gonna be
No,
like
it's fine.
Fergendergen, and then like we're just gonna be like that means pot. Like what?
My bigger disadvantage is that I've been submerged in this world for much shorter, but I'm not making excuses. Let's go.
All
Look at her.
right,
She's like,
Ready?
she's like, I'm out for blood. Let's go.
Go ahead,
rock and
Sarah.
roll. Go.
All right, maple.
Spalted maple.
That's still maple. That's just still the same.
Tiger wood.
No,
Tiger maple. Shit.
Tiger
Cherry.
maple.
I was going to impress you with my
Tiger
spalted
with the
maple.
t-shirt.
I was impressing you with my spalted maple.
That was
Well,
good.
this-
That was good. But that's still maple.
All right,
That's
cherry.
cherry. Okay, so
Okay,
maple
all
and
right.
cherry. Go ahead.
Walnut.
Yellow pine.
Swiss pear.
Mahogany.
Purple heart.
Zacote.
Ziricote.
Oh
Wow.
shit! Okay.
Oak.
Chestnut.
Wow.
Oh my Jesus.
You got this.
No.
Oh.
No.
That's okay.
All right.
Wait,
That was
what-
good.
What's
That
a
was
porch
good.
made out of?
Ipe.
Ipe.
These are some deep
Oh.
cuts.
These are,
Zero
like,
coat.
honestly, you guys got way
Ziricote.
deeper.
So Swiss pear and Ziricote
Yeah.
were deep cuts.
Those
did
were
no one
deep
say
cuts.
pine?
Virtual high five.
Nobody
Sarah.
said
Virtual
pine.
high five.
Yeah.
Nobody said butternut.
Nope.
Like
Yeah.
red
Oh,
wood.
there
Nobody
is-
said poplar.
I was trying to look around.
No,
I was
you
like,
did.
I don't know.
Honestly, that was genuinely impressive. All right.
All right.
Next
Round
one.
two.
All right. The next
Round
one
two.
is just woodworking terminology.
Oh,
just
Jesus.
like
Just
generic,
Words.
like
Okay.
whatever you got.
Woodworking.
I got
all
this.
right?
It could
I got
be a
this.
joint,
I can do
it could be
I can do it.
anything.
I can do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It could be
All
a
right.
tool. It could be a finish. Whatever it is. Vicky, you're
Vicky?
going first on this one. And
Hand cut dovetails.
Joinery.
Planer.
A chisel.
Japanese saw.
Workbench.
What's the cranky thing?
The cranky thing.
Yeah, what's the cranky thing in your
What's the
shop?
cranky thing?
The cranky thing that you paid a lot of money for. The dips and tilts. What is that? The holder.
I don't think you can ask for help.
I don't think you can phone a
can I have
friend.
a lifeline? Mary, a lifeline. The cranky thing.
That was
that
like
holds
15
things
seconds.
together.
Dog.
It's the vice.
A vice.
That was
God
like
darn it.
15 seconds. Dog.
Sorry. Okay.
All right.
Sarah won
Sarah,
that
go
one.
ahead.
That was
Sarah
good.
won that
Oh,
one.
there's
Oh, we're
more.
still
Come
going?
on. Are we done with that?
All right,
Come
all
on.
right. We keep it going. All
Sounds
right.
like Mad Libs.
Yeah.
Sawdust. It's everywhere.
A ventilation system, a saw collection system.
A saw collection system?
Whatever
It
the
collects the saws?
dust collection.
Excellent. Collects my saws and sells them. Go ahead, Sarah.
Workbench con.
Okay.
Are we just now going to talk about like makers? Call me maybe.
That's
This
the
game
first
just took a
maker you
twist.
think of. Flannels.
Okay.
KJ Sawdust. Shout out Keith.
Oh my goodness.
There's so many. This is such a general category.
Right.
Done.
Noise canceling like headphones that you make me wear when you force me in the shop.
Do you want to go deaf?
I'm not. It's not cute.
I know it's not cute. Do you want to go deaf?
No.
You interrupt
Lumber.
their fighting. Oh, okay, there it is.
Wait, what did you say?
I said lumber.
Pallets.
Cabinetry.
Shit.
3.
Planer. No, I said that.
Sorry. Sarah, you win
Banger
that
two.
one.
You won that one.
Double dip. Well done. Well done.
That was less than
Nice.
impressive. You two.
Oh my god.
That was terrible.
All right,
You guys
all
are
right,
so
all right.
harsh.
Now, here's the deal. We have to transition into our ad read, and we're gonna bring it to the Christmas corner. And I listen. I'm gonna be straight with you guys. We're not gonna top last episode's ad read. Like, it's just not gonna happen. That's the greatest
Challenge
piece of content
accepted.
that I have ever put out on the internet, and
Oh,
probably
we're ready.
will. But here's what we're gonna do in lieu of that. We have another sponsorship from Bill Burkle over at WTB Woodworking, our dear friend William, who ran away with Chad at the end of last episode really unexpectedly. And we're gonna have Vicky and Sarah read the ad read for us. So they're gonna tell us everything we need to know about what WTB Woodworking is, does, and sells.
We sure will.
We've got this on lock. All right. Bill, this goes out to you and all of our listeners. Holiday Woodworker Gift Headquarters. WB Woodworking. Carving
Nope.
out excellence.
Nope. WTB Woodworking.
WTB. Whoopsie. two cocktails deep. WTB Woodworking. Carving out excellence. One log at a time.
He's got full service woodworking company and storefront, family owned and operated, lumber, slabs, and sheet goods.
Woodworking tools and supplies make great gifts.
Okay, here's what I want to know from both of you. So, what are some of the things that Bill over at WTB Woodworking is supplying as far as tools and supplies goes?
Rubio Monocoat, the power of one.
What do you think that is, Sarah? What do you think that is?
Well, who needs 3 rounds when you can only have 1?
Sarah just won the internet.
No, Paul, that is a single coat finish.
Oh,
How did you know that?
I'm dating Eric Curtis. That's my answer.
Sarah, you're turning me on.
What else? Is WTB Woodworking offering these days?
Oh, I see the Tide Bond. Vicky, what do you think about it?
What's type on, Vicky?
It's the pro's advantage. Why settle for a loose bond when you can have a tight bond?
But what is
my
a
God.
type? Vicky, what is
Never
it?
thought about that before.
Vicky,
How is
what
that not
it-
their
what-
tagline?
What is a tight bond?
The reason you married me.
Oh God! I ain't one of them, but gee whiz.
What else?
Okay.
What else are they offering here?
Sarah?
Well, Bill has got bits and bits.
Ooh.
Vicky,
Bits
what
of
are bits and
bits?
bits?
Got nothing.
Sarah, what are bits and bits?
Well, bits and bits is all the bits you need to.
Nope. Full stop. All the bits you need.
Yeah, period.
I mean, that's
Sarah,
not
let's-
a bad tagline.
Let's not forget about the micro jig, because who
That's
needs a
unfortunate.
large jig when you can have a micro jig?
I am genuinely curious. What do either of you think lamello is?
It sounds like a lip balm.
It does. It sounds like it does. It sounds like a premium lip balm or some kind of delicious
Hello?
cocktail.
Because we all know that the sawdust makes your lips dry.
You've got that right.
Honestly, though, a LaMelo on the rocks does sound like
It
a
does
drink
sound
that
like
I'm
a
gonna order.
drink.
That should be a thing that we do at like workbench cons.
Sorry, Keith.
Sorry, Keith.
Does everyone know that this fine location is at 390 Pike Road, Unit 2, Huntingdon Valley, Pennsylvania?
Hey, Vicky, you read my mind. I didn't think you were going to get to that part.
Okay, well.
Wow.
That was one heck of an ad read. Never to be repeated. And with that, we would like to thank our new patron since the last show, Joseph Yanis. Thank you, Joseph. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Joseph.
Big Joe.
You keep the mics hot and the lights on, as my wife likes to say.
What?
All right.
Also, I'm impressed we got any patrons after that. The other last week.
Me too, Mary. Me
like
too.
a 20-minute long ad read.
Still, as I said before, the greatest piece of content I've ever put out on the internet.
Well, Eric, that's
Never to be topped.
All right, so we were going to do Wibb's Debate Club and have the woodworkers on one side be anti-woodworking and the girls who don't do woodworking, the girls meaning like Sarah and Victoria, I don't mean Mary, Sarah and Victoria be like pro-woodworking, or we were thinking maybe Victoria, you and I could go at it for more marital issues.
This is what's happening.
When do
in
I
the
get to
after
talk
show.
about the time you cut your thumb off and we had headlamps on at 1 a.m. in the grass looking for the piece of your thumb so the dog didn't eat it? When do we get to talk about that?
Okay, so this is what we're opening the after show with. So join us if you want to be a part of the after show to witness Vicky telling us about the time that Paul emasculated his hand, and then we go into deep marital counseling because the debate club is going to be about how Vicky wants to give Paul's work away for free. Then you can join us on Patreon and watch the after show over there.
Thank you, Eric. That was a lovely summary, which I'm not.
Silky segue.
All right, and with that, we're going to end our special holiday segment. We hope you've enjoyed hearing a very different point of view than the three of us normally give. Sarah,
And thanks to Sarah and Vicky for joining.
Yeah,
us.
thank you so much.
Thank you,
were fantastic.
Vicky, for your honesty and your humor and your deep cuts. We appreciate you being on this episode.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And hey, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all the things to all the people. I believe this episode's dropping on Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day.
On
Oh,
Christmas
my goodness,
Day.
Merry
So
Christmas.
what a celebration to be had.
Everyone, enjoy.
We appreciate all you guys. It's been a hell of a year. You guys are amazing.
Enjoy your holidays. Don't fret. Everything's going to be fine. All right, everyone. We'll see you in the after show.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.